So I hope that close to the Hen Harrier action stand, many of you have already had the chance to visit the RSPB stand and find out about the outstanding work carried out by the committed and dedicated investigations team. Now let's hear a bit more from the man himself. Please welcome the RSPB's Head of Investigations UK, Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to ask you some questions. First question, you can answer it after 3 seconds, yes or no. Do you want more hen harriers? Do you want less burning on grouse moors? Do you want justice? Do you want a fair world? Okay, these are all the values that we have and share as well. So who am I? I'm Mark Thomas. I'm the leader of the RSPB's infantry, if you want to view it in that way. Someone just told me that a few minutes ago, so I've used it. I lead the RSPB's investigations team. So we're a team of about 15 people. That's not many, really. We cover the whole of the UK, and we try and catch the people who are killing the birds that we all love the most. So hen harriers, goshawks, eagles, peregrines, red kites, goes on and on and on. Lots and lots of birds. So how do we do this? Well, we do it by going to remote places, remote times of day, acting upon information, often information that you have given us. We really welcome your support in telling us what you know. So who is the criminal? Where are they? How do we find them? How do we catch them? How do we bring them to justice? Who do we work with? These are all the kinds of questions we face day in and day out. Why are we needed? Well, we needed because some people think that a red kite, a goshawk, a peregrine is better dead than alive. Thankfully, that's not the majority of people, and most people support amazing and iconic birds of prey. Why wouldn't you? So, persecution, this is the illegal killing of birds of prey. It's far too common. So this is trapping, shooting, poisoning, nest destruction. And it's not just birds of prey. The number of times I've dealt with people whose dog has gone off the path, picked up a poison bait and has died. How do you explain that to your kids? Pretty hard, isn't it? You probably know that during lockdown, persecution really soared. And that's because people like you lot were not out in the countryside. But the people killing birds of prey were, and they took that opportunity to kill more birds in greater numbers. So it was the worst record year. We had over 140 confirmed persecution incidents. But that's the tip of the iceberg. These are things that we've detected, but how many crimes go undetected? How many actually happen and we know nothing about? Tons and tons and tons more. I guarantee you that. So let's just give some examples. Let's focus on hen harriers. You might have heard about Susie. Her chicks were stamped to death in her nest. That's pretty bad. But what about Free? He had his head pulled off. Somebody put their foot on the body and pulled the head off. Both of those birds were on grouse moors. And what about Dagda? So Dagda was an RSPB satellite tagged hen harrier. That bird was breeding on our nature reserve. It ventured away from the reserve, and the satellite tag that we fitted told us the bird was dead. We sneaked on to the land next door, 4 o'clock in the morning, dense fog, and we found Dagda and her body. We called the police came and recovered that bird, and it was confirmed it was illegally shot. So how do we prove who did it? Almost impossible. But the sat tag tells us exactly where that bird's movements were, and it never really moved away from the location where it was found dead or on our reserve. So we know it didn't go anywhere else. It died very close to its nest. So we got the police involved, 6-month investigation, nothing could be proved. So we got Channel 4 News involved, 7.5-minute feature on Channel 4 News, watched by 4 million people. Hopefully that bird didn't die a horrible death for no reason. 25 years ago, the RSPB would be preaching to pretty much nobody about raptor persecution. But we're here today. And just like the crime stats, you know, I can see you lot, and hopefully behind you, there's an army of millions of more people who think the same and feel the same and want some justice for these types of crimes. And we're here on your behalf. If you're a member of the RSPB or you're not. Every single day in this job, my team and myself try and do something positive for birds. We can't just sit there. There's an absolute urgency to what we have to do. So we work in partnership with the police, with the National Wildlife Crime Unit, through some operations like Operation Owl, which aims to get all the police and everybody working together, and also with the raptor groups. Let's not forget them. They are the unsung heroes here. They are the people who go out day in and day in and day out, checking raptor nests and looking after birds of prey, and they're the first ones who tell us when things are wrong. So you might see it as a member of the public. They see it as absolute experts in their field, so thank you to them. Also, a massive thank you to Ruth Tingay and her blog. That has absolutely changed the situation. When there's a persecution incident, you hear about it. You hear about it in quick time. When the police aren't good enough, you hear about it. If the RSPB aren't good enough, I think you would hear about it again, but we strive to be as good as we possibly can. So Ruth deserves a huge amount of credit for that blog and the people who come in behind her, helping her with every single blog. It's about people power. People can change this. It doesn't matter about the gamekeeper we catch and is convicted and everybody says, well, that was a rubbish fine. It's irrelevant. The fine is irrelevant to us. It's irrelevant, really, whether they go to jail or not. It's about the stats, and it's about nailing it down. These are crimes that are taking place here. 2/3 of all the crimes against birds of prey are associated with land managed for game birds. That's the fact. 2/3 of all the people convicted are gamekeepers. That's a fact. So, how do we move on? Well, a bit of good news. We've now got grouse moor licensing in Scotland. That is 30 or 40 years worth of sweat, blood and tears from hundreds and hundreds of people. RSPB colleagues, raptor workers, government officials, everybody you name. I was in the Scottish Parliament on the day it was passed. And my overriding thought, our work isn't done. We have to get that for England, and we have to get better regulation across the whole of the UK, because that's the only thing, or the first thing, that's going to make any difference. So my team are out on the ground every single day trying to catch people. So remember those days when you wake up and the weather's rubbish? I guarantee you we'll be out there. We'll be out there catching the very people who are out there trying to kill the very birds that we love. That's what we get paid to do. That's our mission. Do we enjoy it? In a dark kind of humour way at times, but not always. It can be very frustrating. But when you get that evidence that shows what you know has been going on and you've got it on footage, regardless of whether you're going to get a conviction or not, you know that footage is going in the public domain and it's going to show exactly what is happening behind the scenes. And we're here to do that on your behalf. So, we've got grouse moor licensing in Scotland. 10 minutes before I came on the stand, I made a beeline for Olivia Blake, the MP. We're going to be knocking on her door in a really nice way. Olivia, please help us. We need access here. We need to get licensing and regulation in across the UK. This is going to make the difference. So RSPB is very focused on that in a very measured way, in the way that RSPB, you would expect the RSPB to be on issues like this. We need meaningful justice. Justice has to come. It's essential it has to come. Some of you on social media might have noticed yesterday we launched an appeal. So these notes I'm holding, it's on the back of the poster. It's called Stop the Killing. It's our latest appeal. If you go to the RSPB stand, you can get the poster, put it in your window. So what's all that about? Well, we've got a greater chance today than we've had at any point in the last 20 odd years to stop the killing. With your support, we can do it. We'll be knocking on the right doors at government. We need to do it. Everybody knows the climate is in an emergency. Biodiversity is an emergency. Our mission cannot wait. We can't delay a day, you know. Jack, one of my employees, was on the stand until half an hour ago. Jack's just gone to pick up a dead buzzard. That phone call came in literally whilst he's at Hen Harrier Day, and he's gone off to pick a buzzard on the way home. We'll get that x-rayed, it will be examined, we'll see what we can do, we'll inform the police, obviously. So, Stop the Killing appeal is about raising enough funds in the short term to enable us to continue to investigate these crimes across the whole of the UK. So I think in the past we've been a bit kind of shy of asking for your support or asking for financial support. If you genuinely believe this cause and you want to support our team, please do come and visit us in our stand. We can tell you how to do that. We're here on your behalf. We want to catch the people killing birds of prey and we want to stop the killing. So my final point on this is I'd just like to thank some groups individually, really. Hen Harrier Action, great day today. They've sponsored 4 satellite tags from their Christmas appeal. That was fantastic. We really welcome that support. Those 4 Harriers are flying around currently with tags on. We're monitoring them every single day. What's the likelihood some of them are going to be killed? It's probably quite high, I'm afraid. In the last 18 months, we know 32 of our Hen Harriers have disappeared or been killed. And these are really only the birds with tags on. So what happens to the majority without tags? They're probably going the same way. But those tags are absolutely instrumental in showing us where the crime is and proving that. Before tags, Harriers would vanish and we couldn't really say anymore. We can now say this Harrier was found shot, dead on a driven grouse moor. And that's a very hard fact. And that people power, when you put that in a political context, that's what brings about change. And that's why it's so important everybody is here today who could make it. Hen Harrier Action we're thanking, Anne Rees, donor, Bob and Betty, they're really good donors, Conrad. We'd like to thank the National Park in the Peak, they've given us money for tags, the National Trust, the Ride family, United Utilities, and our youngest donor, a young man called Answar, who saved up enough money for nearly 1 tag, and we took him out and showed him Hen Harriers recently, and he absolutely loved it. So please, if you do love these birds of prey, get behind us, support us. We have to stop the killing. Thank you.